a million streams does not equal $1 million. It's like $955,000 away from $1 million on Spotify. Welcome to Into the Industry, ITI for short. My name is Seth Dyer. I'm a producer, artist, and engineer from Toronto. I decided to make this series. I created this series because, man, talking to a camera is so weird. I created this series because I've been through a whole lot of stuff on my journey as an artist, and I'd like to share it with you. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna kind of tell you a story as to how I got my first million streams, and then break down the steps that you can do now to kind of try and recreate that. There's certain parallels that I didn't know I was doing at the time, but Spotify was very happy about it. It's story time. A couple years ago, like 2016, I did a weekly campaign. It was called Dyer Days, season 1. I released 7 songs in 7 weeks, so a song a week. By the 6th week, I'm like, yo, no one has heard this. No one's heard anything. I'm just gonna chalk it up as a loss and call it a day. Learn from it, do something different next time. Then my brother calls me out of the blue when I'm about to upload the 6th record. The 6th record, and he tells me, yo, one of your songs is on a big playlist on Spotify. Like, it's something I listen to. It's got over 50,000 streams right now. I'm like, 50,000 who? What? 50,000 what? I go download Spotify, check it out. Lo and behold, it's got 50,000 streams and it's climbing. It's on a playlist called Hip Hop Central, which is a big Canadian hip hop playlist. It's also on a playlist called R&B Now. It's next to artists like Tory Lanez, Daniel Caesar. My song was right beside some heavy hitters. It was a song called What You Need. What You Need eventually climbed to like 250,000 streams that year. But the next year it hit about 400, and then the year after, which would be 2019, hit over 500,000. Spotify is like real estate. It keeps building, keeps building, keeps building if you have something hit. There are certain things I did that I realize now as to why this worked, and I'm gonna break it down for you right now. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is plan, okay? If you have a song coming out, you're gonna wanna plan that release. You're gonna wanna create excitement around it for your fans. You're gonna want to put it out on social media and let people know that you're releasing a song soon. If you're putting out a song, whether it's one song, whether it's a weekly campaign, whether it's a monthly campaign or whatever, you definitely don't want to do it running around with your hands in the air. Like, you don't want to just put your song out into the depths of the internet and be like, please, someone, listen. Please listen. We don't want to do that. You want to plan. If you got a song or songs coming out, you want to make sure you have all your assets, all your artwork, whether it's video things that you're going to use to promote, whether it's anything in relation to the song that's an asset, even a short write-up to send to a blog or something. Make sure you have all your assets ready. So that's part of planning. In my example, I planned my weekly campaign. I was ahead on the songs. Well, I actually wasn't ahead on the songs. I was kind of playing catch up, but I learned not to play catch up. The best case scenario is that you have all your songs ready if you're doing a weekly campaign, or you know what you're doing in the future. Moving on, you're going to want to upload consistently. Spotify, like many of these other digital platforms, is very much about consistency. The more you upload, the more chances you have of hitting, obviously. Let's say you do 3,000 streams every time you put a record out, right? If you're continuously putting records out, those streams will add up. You want to upload consistently because Spotify is an algorithm-based thing. The algorithm learns about you and learns about the music you make. The more you can feed it, the better, right? Also, when people discover you, if you have a plethora of records for them to check out, they'll be able to dive into you and actually become fans. Dive into you. That sounds a little weird. Whatever. People will be able to learn more about you in terms of your music, and then become fans, streaming more of your songs, streaming more of your records, equaling to more streams. That's what the weekly campaign did for me. I was putting out a song a week, so when people discovered What You Need, which was the one that got picked up first, there was other records for them to check out and become fans and stream those. When one of my records caught, the rest of them pulled up streams too. We're dealing with a machine, and the machine likes consistency. The consistency definitely helps out the algorithm to learn about you, which we'll get into because the algorithm learns about you. 3, upload early. So whether you use DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters, there's a bunch of these platforms that you can use to upload your songs to Spotify. Upload early. I say the best would be like 3 to 4 weeks ahead, depending on your distributor. I use DistroKid. DistroKid's very fast. You want to have enough time to upload your song through Spotify for Artists and be able to pitch it to playlist curators. Well, it's not really playlist curators, it's more so pitching it to the algorithm, which we'll get into. 4, I think we're on number 4. I lost count. I can at least count to 4. Like, I'm supposed to be a musician. I should be able to count to 4. Which one? What's number 4? Hold on. You want to look for press and PR. We might think now in 2020 that blogs don't have the same pull and the same discovery element, but the Spotify algorithm actually looks for your name on the internet, and it looks for accredited websites that deal with music. So if it finds your name on a website, it's more likely gonna push out your song to more people. Now, it's important that when these people write about you, whether it's a blog or whatever, that they use the right words to describe your music, because the algorithm actually looks at the words that's in the article to categorize your music. So if someone does a blog post about you and you make folk music and they say something about hip hop, which I don't know why they would ever do that, it will mess with the algorithm, right? So you want to make sure they use the right words to help categorize your song. If they're comparing you to artists, hopefully they're the right artists that you want to be associated with, because that is also an important factor in Spotify. Artists that are similar to you is an important factor. Search for some of these blog articles. They still matter in terms of Spotify. Now with me, I live in Toronto. Like I said, there's a hip hop blog called Hip Hop Canada. Every single one of the releases that I put out on Dire Days was covered by Hip Hop Canada. I have a relationship with some of the people there. They covered every single record. That sparked the algorithm to catch on to one of my songs, right? That maybe even sparked a curator to catch on one of my songs from seeing the algorithm give it to people. I'm not sure, but press does matter to Spotify. So if you can get your name across the internet, it will help you out. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is make sure you submit your song to Spotify through Spotify for Artists. So when you use your digital uploader, whoever they are, I don't remember what the technical term for them is. So let's say I upload my song to DistroKid, and then a couple days later, boom, it shows up in my Spotify for Artists in the upcoming section. There's a submission section where you'll be able to submit that upcoming record. What that does is it guarantees you placement on, I believe it's Release Radar, right? I think so. I think it's Release Radar that it guarantees you'll get on Release Radar algorithmic playlist, right? Through doing that submission. That submission form is important. It's important to get your genre in there, the type of music you make, and when you describe it to them, because there's a section where you can write and describe it to them. You want to make sure that you use the right terms and the right words. There's over 40,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day. Curators are not going through 40,000 songs a day, right? The algorithm is taking in the keywords of what you type. It's important that you use the right words to describe your music. The words you use matter, even as far as your Spotify artist bio. You want to make sure you have your genre in there. You have things that describe your music. You have artists that you can be compared to, because Spotify is looking at that. It's a machine. It can only use so much. What this machine does is it listens to your song. It can listen for tempo. It can listen for key. It can It can listen for vocal inflection. It can listen for a whole bunch of different things that it uses to kind of categorize your song and find people that may like it. At the time when I was running Dire Days, this submission tool didn't exist. There was actually a form that Spotify Canada gave out to people that you could use to submit music to them. And then the submission tool eventually became accessible for everyone. At the time, I didn't have the option of even submitting the song. So it's great that we have that feature now because it at least guarantees you some sort of playlisting through Release Radar. But when you submit the song, some of the things you want to include is the genre, the type of feel it has. You know how there's like, when you're clicking the genre, you can click like chill, fierce, energetic. Actually type those up as well. Artists that you might be similar to. And then if a curator happens to see it, you want to have a bit of a promo plan so that they know you're serious about this. Okay, so your song's uploaded. It's on Spotify now. You've done promo before. You submitted with Spotify for Artists. The next thing you want to do is move people from one platform to another platform, being Spotify. So you want to tell everybody on your IG, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, call them, tell them your song is out on Spotify. You want to drive traffic to your Spotify as soon as you can, because the quicker that you get plays and the quicker that you get saves, the more the algorithm will push out your song to more people. So those first couple days is very important that you try and drive traffic to it, as much people as you can, streaming the entire song. Hopefully they like it. They stream the entire song and hopefully they save it, because saves are also important. Next, you want people to save the song. You want at least a 10% save ratio. So if 100 people listen to your song, you want at least 10 of them to save it, hopefully more, because saves are a very big factor in Spotify that lets it know that people actually like this song, that they're willing to save it. When people save your song, Spotify, using its crazy music mind, finds more people similar to the people that have saved your song and kind of pushes it to more people like that. You may notice you listen to a song on Spotify and then it instantly plays another one that's similar to it, or they play something that they think you would like. If you get the right people saving your songs and listening to your records, it will find other people that are like that and it will just kind of recommend that song to them. It might end up in their Discover Weekly. As long as you're feeding Spotify the right data, people are listening to your song, people are streaming it more than once, people are saving it. Now, everybody wants to know how to get onto playlists. There's multiple ways to go about doing it. Me, personally, I've actually never paid for any playlist curation. I just feel like my timing in terms of getting on Spotify and putting out music, the way I did it and what was happening in Spotify at the time, I was lucky in that sense that I got posted on some editorial playlists, and then that editorial playlist ended up getting my music to people that run other playlists, etc. But you can seek out people who have playlists that fit your genre. It's very important that the other artists on the playlist are artists you want to be compared to, and artists that you're similar to, because the fans also like section on your Spotify page is important. If you're compared to the wrong artist, you're feeding Spotify the wrong data. Just because somebody has a certain amount of listeners on their playlist, if you get popped on to the wrong playlist with the wrong artist, it will eventually negatively affect you. You want to make sure that you're on a playlist with the right acts. Another thing you want to be wary of is people that can guarantee you streams, right? You got to really research these playlist curators when you reach out to them, because guarantees can be dangerous. That means there's a possibility of bots being involved. And once bots are involved on your Spotify account, it just messes up all your data. It just messes up the algorithm. If you make hip hop music, if you make like battle rap hip hop music and you're next to a song for like ballet, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I mean? And the algorithm is gonna notice that, and it's gonna notice that there's bot traffic coming to your song, and you might get 200,000 plays, but they're not real people, and you're messing up your data. You don't ever want to do that. Don't get caught in the vanity of the streams. You want good quality streams. You want good quality listeners, good quality plays. Playlist placement doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get streams, right? So you might be on a playlist and people might not play your song, which would suck. So it doesn't guarantee anything, but it does help. And when you get playlisted, you tend to get more streams. But it's not a guarantee. You want to figure out ways that you can control directing people to your Spotify, the right people, targeting the right people, whether it's through Facebook ads or Instagram ads, or you get the right TikTok influencer to play your song. It's all about targeting the right people and getting the right people to your page, because that feeds good data to the algorithm. When the algorithm is picking you up and good things are happening, that's when curators also tend to pick you up, and people that work on the Spotify editorial playlists and stuff like that. When they see numbers start to move, it's more likely that they'll be like, wow, this is doing well. Let me playlist this. This works on a playlist that I'm curating. Let me try and playlist this. See how it goes. Playlist curators, I don't know too much of them. Where I live, there's a girl named Lynn. What's up, Lynn? She runs a company called Icon Island, and they're wicked for playlisting. They're wicked for everything digital, everything social media. She's killing it. She's doing a great job. I could definitely recommend her, and I'll put her website link in the description below. You can reach out to her. I know she's had a lot of success. And the last thing, you kind of have to rethink the way you approach music in a sense. I'm not telling you to change your art or be something you're not, but there's certain songs and there's certain things that tend to work on streaming. So you want to make songs that people want to play over and over again. You want more streams than you have listeners, right? If 5,000 people listen to your song, you want like 15,000 streams. You want them to play that song 3 times. And there's different things that factor into that. So the length of your song, for instance, right? You notice there's so many 2-minute, 3-minute songs, right? Because if it's shorter, the replayability of the song comes into play. Replayability comes into play. It's a lot of playing. You want a lot of playing, okay? The replayability is important. But that boils down to a lot of things. Your songwriting, your production, the way it's mixed. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't know if there's a formula for a hit, but there are certain things that work on streaming. And I know that song length is definitely one of those factors. You can look into other things that do well in your genre and where your genre is currently going or whatever, that type of stuff. But be an artist at the end of the day. You don't want to compromise who you are, but just keep in mind that you want replayability. So where are the parallels as to how I got over 1 million streams on Spotify? I'm currently at 2 million streams. 1, I upload consistently. I'm always putting music out. 2, during Dire Days, I got pressed through Hip Hop Canada and other websites that the algorithm was able to look for. When I got playlisted, I was playlisted next to the right artists. Right? Me, I was lucky. I got playlisted next to Tory Lanez and Daniel Caesar and Drake and all these people, right? So that definitely helped me out a lot. When you're looking for playlists, make sure you look for things that fit your genre and your type of music. I could see that people saved it. The more saves I got, the more it recommended the song to people. And 4, I just kept at it, man. I know I'm in for a long haul game. You gotta be patient. Sometimes things don't kick off right away with the song. I know sometimes I've uploaded songs, they've been on the platform for a week or 2, and then it's like the next month they start getting streams through these same principles I'm putting into place. Not everything happens right away. You gotta be patient. You gotta know that this is a long haul game and keep at it. Anyways, this was my first ITI into the industry. My camera battery died while I was filming the end of this after I talked about planning for how long. But anyways, I hope you guys get a whole bunch of streams, whole bunch of listeners, whole bunch of new fans. If you found any of this helpful, please leave a comment below. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing an ITI every week, so hopefully I can help you guys out. Get a whole bunch of streams. Peace. 1 million. I'd like $1 million. I don't remember what I was talking about.